to a night of revelations here on Twitchy Tuesdays. Tonight, we are channeling the energy of the upcoming Gemini full moon, and we confront what is being labeled, what I got channeled messages in, as the harsh truths from the goddess. It's a time of isolation as we start out this Sagittarius season, a struggle to maybe reconcile some new information that's coming in, and a call for each of us to stand in our own power. Join us on this profound journey of self-discovery as we delve into these mysteries of this powerful moon. And not only that, but we will also be diving into the energy overall of December, talking through a little bit what you can expect as we get into December and what it has in store. So it's a night of learning the astrology, staying for the tarot, and embracing the wisdom of the goddess. Let's absolutely begin this cosmic exploration together right away with cleaning out the broom closet. This week, we have a really, it's a pretty intense week this week, all leading up to this Gemini full moon, which will happen on 11/27. So on 11/21 today, Mars in Scorpio sextiled Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees, 19 minutes. Then on the 22nd, tomorrow, Sagittarius season. So happy solar returns to all the Sagittariuses out there. We talked last Twitchy Tuesday about Sagittarius season and what signatures we should expect there. And we get it kicked off first thing tomorrow. Venus who is in currently Libra, will be opposing Chiron retrograde in Aries at 15 degrees, 59 minutes after we head into Sagittarius season. And then Mars and Sirius will conjunct in Scorpio at 29 degrees, 9 minutes. On the 23rd, we talked about this. The literal first thing that happens anytime anything gets into Sagittarius is square to Saturn, immediate square to Saturn. So Sagittarius season occurs on the 22nd. By the 23rd, the sun will square Saturn in Pisces at 0 degrees, 50 minutes. And then the next day, Mars heads into Sag. They're playing this dance, following each other along. Sirius will also head into Sagittarius. They'll be doing that very, very close to each other. And of course, what happens right after that? Everything getting into Sag squares Saturn. So then on the 25th, Mars in Sagittarius will square Saturn in Pisces at 0 degrees, 55 minutes. Sirius will then also square Saturn on the 26th. Mercury is going to trine the North Node in Aries at 24 degrees, 23 minutes. And then we have what we are here to discuss today, 11/27, the full moon in Gemini. And it is first up, the full moon in Gemini goes first. That's at 4 degrees, 51 minutes. Following that moon, Sirius in Sagittarius will square Saturn in Pisces, 0 degrees, 59 minutes. Then Mercury in Sag will square Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 24 degrees, 55 minutes. And this is where now we get that other half of the conversation. So we've got these pillars for any planet during Sag season of squares with Saturn to start, Neptune to finish. And we're going to talk about a couple of different pieces of these, obviously getting into the full moon, which the full moon has these signatures of the squares. The square with Sirius and Saturn, the square with Mercury and Neptune retrograde, the square with Mars and Saturn still very present during this moon, even though it's exact a few days before. It's a packed week. It's a packed week with very, very interesting messages coming through. Again, harsh truths from the goddess. That is what came out for this moon. Let's get right into this full moon in Gemini, talk about it. And as I was prepping for this, the tarot deck today is even a little different. We have the Everyday Tarot that I'm using, and specifically using this deck because of, and I'll just show you the bottom of the deck here, this Queen of Swords, specifically because of the simplicity in the imagery and the alignment with the gold and the purple to the goddess and really feeling into that energy. This was the deck that wanted to be present. And it really ties into this harsh truce from the goddess concept that I channeled for this moon. So let's just level set on this moon. It occurs at 11:27:23 at 3:16 a.m. Central Time, 4 degrees 51 minutes of Gemini. It opposes Mars, conjunct Sirius, and that conjunction is with the sun, and it will square Saturn, which means Mars is also conjunct. So let's take a look. So excited. I got the new, boom. We got solar fire, new charts. I love this program. New charts. Here you can see the information for the Gemini full moon. I am actually going to just blow this up a little bit. Let's go one down. All right. Let me get my handy dandy highlighter here. Where you go? Thick. All right. This is where we want to look. So this Gemini full moon that happens on 11/27, here is where the sun is at. Oh no. Oh no, we did not want to do that. Hold on, Control Z. Oh. This is live. Doing this live. Okay. Let's try that again. So let's try the drawing. Maybe the drawing will get a little bit better. There we go. All right. So here's the sun sitting right here at 4 degrees, 51 minutes of Sagittarius. Here is the moon. We need to go down in this. We need to get a little less thick. All right. Let's go this way. All right. Learning and growing together. I love it. Here we go. Here's the moon. 4 degrees, 51 minutes of Gemini. So this is what makes it. This opposition is what makes it a full moon. And here you can see, let me get this big thing off. Here we go. Here's the sun. Here is Mars, conjunct the sun, 2 degrees, 6 minutes. Here is Sirius, conjunct Mars and the sun, 0 degrees, 55 minutes. And this is, and then the square to Saturn. Yes. So Saturn, our friend, is over here in Pisces at 0 degrees, 58 minutes. And here you can see the line where the square is. So there's a lot more to this chart, but this is where I want to hone in on and just show. All right. You can see here, if you have your own natal chart, you want to look for this 4 degree, 51 minute mark of Gemini. This is the sign. This is the glyph for Gemini here. You can see in this chart, this is just a pulled chart for this time. You can see in this chart, it would be in the 8th house. You want to look at where that is for you in your own natal chart. And the sun down here being in the 2nd house, which is the 4 degree, 51 minute of Sagittarius. All right. Venus in Libra opposes the North Node, which also means that she is conjunct the South Node in Libra. So we're going to change colors here to identify this. I'm going to go down a little bit too. All right, Venus in Libra sits right here, 22 degrees, 21 minutes. This is the South Node in Libra at 22 degrees, 42 minutes. And this opposition line right here shows that she is opposing the North Node in Aries at 22 degrees, 42 minutes. Like this Venus, and the reason why I'm starting with Venus versus the ruler of this moon, which is Mercury, which we will get to because this is where the harsh truce from the goddess comes from. But I wanted to start with Venus in Libra because Venus in Libra, this is the good. Out of this moon, out of this conversation about these harsh truths from the goddess, Venus is the one that you want to look to if this moon is pressurizing you. If you are really intensely feeling this moon, Venus is so good right now. She's got this feel-good energy to her. She's happy to be in her sign. Like she's been through a lot, but she is moving, grooving, and flowing. And she's really taken on that energy from the rest of this year into this second half of the year. And it's like, look, I've been through some things. I'm good. Y'all can throw a bunch of shit at me right now, and I'm going to be just fine. I've persevered. I know what to do. I have grown. I've evolved. And she can just really, right now with this meetup with the nodes, she can be chill and cool as a cucumber for these meetings. Even though it's an opposition, and yes, there is with the South Node, there is this conjunction. Even with that in mind, she can just take it in stride. This is her moment. She is in a really, really sweet spot. So as you're going through this moon, and if it's tender for you, Venus is that planet that you want to look at. And I mean, this is how kind of Venus can play out. As you've noticed, I don't know if you follow each Twitchy Tuesday or at least watch, I have gone through this whole metamorphosis, and really personally, like I am loving my hair. It's a very Venus thing, loving my hair. My moon is in Libra, so like just feeling the hair, feeling like it's healthy. Thank you, First Form, for collagen. It's doing all the things it needs to do. And it happened right around Halloween. Right around Samhain was when it was like, you know what? I'm going to play with my makeup. I haven't pulled out my makeup in a hot minute. Let me get that out. And it's just been every day. Every day I want to show up. I want to put on my makeup. I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to, like, very Venusian, very Venus and Libra things that I hadn't felt in months as Venus went through her journey. Hadn't, even when she was in my sun sign of Leo, didn't even feel this there. There was like so much beyond this. But now I'm like, yes, this is nice. I'm loving this. But here's where her meetup with these nodes and this personal thing that I've been going through can show up. The South Node, which she is in conjunction with, so she's speaking to, is leaving things behind. That's kind of an easy way to think about the South Node. Like what have you already gone through? What have you already actualized? And what just kind of needs to sit there, where the North Node can be thought of more of like, what are you bringing forward? What things do you want to go now with what you've learned in the South Node? And that comes back to, like, I started doing my makeup, and what was the first thing that my brain did? Maloney's brain went straight to, oh, well, let's go see what other types of eyeshadow they have. Let's go, oh my gosh, maybe I should get my lashes done. Oh man, maybe I should do this. Oh, maybe I could do that. And hold on, check in. What are my needs? Because again, Venus has gone through this journey. She has leveled up. Doesn't mean some of those same timelines aren't playing out for her, but she's leveled up. And what do I really need lashes? Do I really need additional makeup that maybe this is just a moment in time, may not last? Do I really need to utilize my resources to go and get those things? Like these are the conversations that she is having with these nodes. It's letting go of, I have to have all to be pleasing to others. That's the South Node. And this is the journey that I've kind of been on since Samhain, and just really feeling into like those Venusian themes, but understanding that I need to let go of having to have things that are pleasing to others, and bringing in the North Node, bringing in what is for me and pleasing myself, which might not please everyone, and that's okay. It will please the right ones. And so I wanted to kind of bring in and start with that journey first before we get into the Mars Saturn, or the Mars, Sun, Saturn, and Mercury in this moon. Okay, let's see if they want any messages to come out. Any messages for Venus and the nodes during this moon? I mean, even before and after. Yep, strength. Oh, we got two. We got strength and the Hierophant. Great cards to go through exactly what I just said. With strength, the Venus showing up strong in that strength card. Strength in what she knows, strength in the journey that she's been on, strength in the conversations that she's already been having, strength in the ability to discern. Again, the conversations can happen just because you've gone through this journey and you've leveled up doesn't mean that the patterns still don't exist. Doesn't mean that you won't be put into situations where you have to then stand on those values, stand on your learnings, stand in who you are and embody what you are saying and doing and thinking and trying to become. So it's this strength of knowing who you are and knowing I can let go of what is pleasing to others. And with the Hierophant, identify within myself. These are two major arcana cards. So this is that conversation, that feminine energy conversation. Identify what is pleasing to me internally and being okay with standing on that and making that my ground, my foundation, my every time I think of the Hierophant, I think of like my pulpit, the pulpit that I stand on. And that's going to be my stasis. It's a 5. The Hierophant's the 5. This is how I'm going to change. This is how I have changed. And I'm standing here before you today in this change. This is what's relevant for me. All right. Mars and the Sun. Let's see if I can get some of this off of here. Here we go. Okay, well, we'll go back to drawing. We're going to get red. Mars and the Sun. Here is our great friend Mars, our great friend the Sun during this moon, cozy up to each other. We are the 17th. Woo! Y'all. That Mars Kazemi leading up, that was tense. That was tense. Spicy, absolutely. And now that they're starting to separate, again, this energy lasts all the way through December. There is some sort of separation. But during this moon, this Mars and Sun conjunction opposing the moon, because again, this is the opposition, which makes it a full moon. I got the term spicy deception. That during this moon, there can be some spicy deception laid out, and especially with this concept of the moon overall, which is the harsh truths from the goddess. Those harsh truths may have a little heat to them. They may have a little deceptive quality to them. You may deceive yourself in how you're feeling. Like maybe something comes out in this moon where you're like, oh, that didn't bother me. And then like a couple of days later, you're like, you know what? That actually bothered the shit out of me. I'm still kind of pissed about that. I didn't realize how much that bothered me at the time. I just kind of took it, but I'm kind of not okay with taking it. So there's a lot of ways that this can play out, but spicy deception was that word. With the opposition to the moon after the new moon. So again, last moon, the new moon, what in Scorpio was a conjunction. Mars, Sun, Moon, conjunct. Now we are on an opposition. So we work together. How that can be kind of thought through is we work together as a unit, Mars, Sun, Moon. We work together as a unit. And now we're on opposite sides of the table. So it was kind of, it almost, they're giving me the image right now. Let's see what pops up. The Three of Cups. Yep. They're giving me the image of like a truce for the moment. So the Scorpio new moon was a truce. Hey, we've got to work together. Hey, we've got to come together, this Three of Cups. We've got to come together for the good of everything. That doesn't mean we still don't have beef. That doesn't mean we still ain't got things that we got to work through. That doesn't mean I still don't feel some sort of way, but I see the bigger picture to put that aside to work together. Now, though, we are on opposite sides of the table. They're giving me the image of like those movies where MI6 and the CIA want to work together. And so they've got to like put their beef aside, put their egos aside to allow for like a combined force to come together to take action on something. And then as soon as that action's done, it's like, okay, I have a respect for you. This still, Three of Cups is still a celebration. I have this respect for you and now and what you do. I understand you, the Star. I understand you a little bit better. I understand. I have a higher perspective and I have a higher respect now versus where I started when we started this truce. And I can work with that. I can sit now across the table from you. What you have to realize with the Star card, that person on the other side of that table, that energy on the other side of that table, they didn't forget this truth. They didn't forget what you learned. You didn't forget what they learned, but they still have a different objective. Now that you're on opposite sides of the table, those objectives don't align anymore. You had a common objective. We're in a totally different mood now. And how do you expand? How do you get that perspective? How do you reconcile your feelings and your thoughts? Because this is the moon now in the other side. How does that feel and how do you reconcile that? Okay, so that's Mars's story. What do I want to do for Mercury? I feel a little green. I feel like we should get some green for Mercury. Let's talk about the ruler of this moon, which is our great friend Mercury, sitting right here at 24 degrees, 40 minutes of Mercury or of Sagittarius. And this is the real story. Mercury's been in Sag. Mercury is going to quickly go through Sag, kind of dip his toe into Capricorn, and then station retrograde and go back. And we're going to talk about Mercury's retrograde. I think it's next week is when we'll do that. However, as he's very quickly going through Sagittarius, 4 hours it's like right underneath 4 hours after this moon, he will be exactly squaring Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 24 degrees, 54 minutes. So this moon has Mercury square Neptune signature and will actualize in the exact square a few hours later. Mercury, if you also notice here, is, hold on a second. Let me see where we're at here. Oh, here we go. Mercury and Neptune, excuse me. I had something else written down. So I got the image. This is the image that I got for this moon. And I'm going to pause on sharing this screen and pick up another screen to show everyone. Let me hide that. All right. So this is the image that came to my mind. And I had AI generate this for me. But this was this harsh truce of the goddess. It was the picture form of the image that I got and the expression that I felt that this moon needed. So I got the image of this, woman, you, man, doesn't matter, standing in the middle of this room, very monochromatic, gray and black, it was very dark, very kind of like all the color was leached from things. And people were walking in synchronicity and like a grid pattern around you, like whether they were going this way, whether they were going this way, didn't really matter, but they were in a synchronistic pattern as they were walking, just kind of that mindless march. And they all had black tape over their mouth. Everything was muted. And that's that Neptune influence. Everything is muted, from the colors to the lack of sound. Like I didn't hear the people walking. I didn't hear their footsteps. I couldn't hear anything. And through this process of getting this image, there was this understanding that you're trying to get all of the info, like this individual that's standing right in the middle, yourself standing here, you have questions. Like there's things that are your mouth isn't taped. There's something that is trying to burst out of you. And you need, like, you're grasping for things, for people, for sound, for understanding, and nothing is there. You're kind of this like lone wolf out in this sea of chaos. You're trying to get info, reconcile the new information you got, develop yourself beyond, and nobody is talking. Nobody is giving you anything. Nobody has anything to give. Nobody understands, and nobody is at any way, shape, or form willing to help or hear you. And so there's this sense that I got of isolation and struggle to like bring in, because it is Gemini, bring in this new information that you've received about yourself, about the world around you, where verbal communication is completely absent. And that's a struggle for Gemini. That's not Gemini's, that's not Mercury modality. Mercury's typically not silent when there's Gemini in the air. It's an easy flow of information. And this one, I really got that there is something that is coming into your being that like verbally is just not there to be talked through. It's just absent. And this is where the harsh truths of the goddess come from. The goddess being Neptune. Neptune is a feminine energy. And with Neptune, who is kind of placing this archetypal goddess sort of foot down during this Gemini moon, because typically like, all right, look, we can water, we can play. But the goddess really has something very important that you can't skip. And she has a harsh truth that needs to be stated. And she's doing this ultimately because she's caring for you. She's not making it easy because she's caring for you. She's not holding back because she is caring for you. She is caring for you in the way that there's no other way. We've talked about this. It's kind of that in that Plutonian realm where the only way for you to get you to see is to be this harsh. And what is she trying to get you to see? Well, that depends on your experience and your journey, but I received the message is she is trying to get you to see that this is about you and only you and you. That's it. This lone individual standing there, the only one without tape on her mouth, the only one that's not in pants, shirt, and a tie, the only one with hair. That's it. It is you and you. You reconcile your own information. You find out if the info is real or not. You find out a different way to get the info. You develop yourself. You stand in your power. You give yourself the support that you need. And that is that strong message that Neptune is having to bring right in this moment. Do not forget that this is about you. and how you move through the world. Heading back over to our chart here, as you can see, we've got these bookends. This is where the bookend came from of Saturn and Neptune. And then as we head and these look at all of these Sagittarius planets begin to head into Capricorn, are you passing the Neptune test to get to Capricorn? Mercury's got to pass. This is another point. Vulcan has to pass. The Sun has to pass. Mars has to pass. Sirius has to pass. All before they can move on to this next step. Are you passing the Neptune test to get into Capricorn? Capricorn is all about climbing mountains, all about achieving those goals. And mountain climbing, while you do it in pairs and you typically have a team around you, it is a solo sport out there. It's a solo sport that you do with others. You do it with others to protect you, to help you, to have support there for you. You need that. However, you have to own your own journey up that mountain. You have to own the preparation. You have to own the dangers. You have to own the risks and the rewards. You have to own your private journey while you still are doing it with others that are owning their private journey. And that's what this test to get into Capricorn is all about. And the last piece of this square that we have here is, remember that this square, this one between Mercury and Neptune, this is the most open and readable that any planet in Sagittarius or luminary in Sagittarius right now is going to get. It's open, it's readable, you can rely on the information, because after this meetup at this moon and a couple hours after exact, Neptune's going to go direct and shut all of that down. So the image, the support, the meeting to the goddess isn't going to be as clear as it is right now. So don't skip this step. Don't skip the harsh truth. Don't skip it because I don't like it, or I don't want to be in this isolation, or I don't. There is purpose. There's something here that there's some sort of information that you need to gain to make the rest of this journey way, like, it will all make sense when you get past this and be able to look back. You're getting the message. You're getting whatever harsh truth this is. You need to get you through the rest of these squares and the long term, because we have our friend Saturn here. And this first square is checking you for the long term. That's Saturn's MO. Checking you for the long term. You get to Neptune, you get checked again, so that way you can get into Capricorn and make that happen. Saturn already has something to say. Saturn's meeting up with the Sun. Saturn's meeting up with Mars. Already met with Mercury. So Saturn already had the conversation. Bring those messages together now. At this moon, what was that original message when Mercury ingressed into Sag, got with Saturn? What was that first message like? And now listen to this harsh truth of the goddess and hear beyond. Reconcile beyond. Think in that longer term. That this Mercury, the Sun, Mars, these are all personal things, right? These are all things that are in the 3D. They're in the ground. They're very quick, and these are planets and luminaries that want to work in the now, meeting up with planets that want to prepare you now for the long term. So these conversations need to be adjusted. Mercury, you, Mars, Sun need to adjust to hear what they have to say, not what you want to hear. Ooh, we just had this whole conversation today. All right, bring both of those messages together. Use the trine I'm sorry, use the sextile with the nodes, use Venus with these nodes, get other supportive messages from the goddess. And, you know, with the nodes being here with Venus, she can really, and that's why I wanted to start with that. Don't forget this lovely thing we got going on right here. Don't forget that, because she can bring in some of that softness. She can bring in some of that color. She can bring in some of those things that, you know what, we left that behind. Leave it there. The goddess is right. Let her be. She can also tell you and sweeten the deal on how do you develop on your destiny path? How do we, while this is harsh, look at what this can bring down the road. So let's see. Oh, we got the sun. We got the sun that came out. Let's see what else comes out. We have the World, the Knight of Pentacles. Let's get one more. Just to round out this message and see what else we have for this moon. Let me get back here. Let me hide that. There we go. Oh, Temperance. Perfect. Okay. So for this moon, we have the Sun, Knight of Pentacles, the World, and Temperance coming out in that order. The Knight of Pentacles and the World flipped at the same time, so exchange that as you will. With the Sun, again, here is a harsh truth. These cards are not dynamic. Look at how simplistic these cards are. They're not dynamic for a purpose. You have to dig. You have to dig into your intuition, into your interpretation to understand, what does this sun mean to you? What things are being illuminated for you during this full moon? It is a full moon of illumination. What harsh truths are coming through? Don't hide away. I mean, this individual, I love that it's the sun and the person is in the same color. The horse is white. Yes, it's got some decorations on it that is in that gold, but the horse itself is white, meaning the sun and you, that's the connection point. This is all about you. The sun is illuminating something. This moon is illuminating something. These conversations are illuminating something that you should not ignore. This is part of that journey that's coming in. This is part of where we're going. And the Knight of Pentacles then comes out. And again, Knight of Pentacles and the World kind of flipped together. So one or the other comes first. But maybe through this illumination, through whatever is coming in with this moon, and as Mars and the Sun, like Mars and the Sun, what action are you taking? We've got the Knight of Pentacles here. What action are you taking to move forward? What did we talk about with the Mars and the Sun, right? We were working together. Now we're not working together. We're on opposite sides of the table. That doesn't mean that there is not a path forward. It doesn't mean that this can't be fruitful. It doesn't mean that there's not a bigger path and a bigger purpose to this. I love that the pentacle, so if you look closely, the pentacle in this knight's hand, it isn't, what do I want to say? It's not filled out. It's, oh my gosh, there's a word I'm looking for, and it's escaping me, this Mercury and Sag, my brain. Speaking of this Gemini moon and the harsh truths, obviously I can't come up with words. So this pentacle is not filled in. It's not whole. It kind of reminds me during this conversation of Mars and Sun. It's the spicy deception. Look at that right there. It's the spicy deception. It's deceiving that you're holding this pentacle that really has no value because it's not real. It's an ideal. It's something that you can hold, but you don't have in the real world. Something you hold, but don't have. Then you have the World that's complementing it. And the World is out here, you know, again, what do you have that's changing? What do you hold that's changing, but maybe isn't in the world yet, in the 3D yet? since it is outside of ourselves. It is up in the 5D. What changes are being made? How are you progressing through the cardinal points? Where are you going to get to Capricorn season? This is the start of Sag. What are you going to do to get to Capricorn season? Mercury and Neptune in a square. What are you going to do to get into Capricorn? This world is absolutely aligning with me. All of the squares that these planets, points, luminaries are going to have to go through with Neptune in order to get to the next cardinal point, in order to change into another season. And then to round it all out, we have Temperance, the harsh truth of the goddess. Temperance has something to say. The goddess has a very profound message. And it's not going to be like, if you look here, as she's pouring from one chalice to the other, she's not dribbling it. It's not like a little, ooh, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna do it. No, she is pouring. She's gonna bring it down. It's the only way to successfully get all of the liquid from one cup to the other. It's got to go all at once. It's got to be that harsh truth. It's got to be clarity. I mean, look, there's a crown right here out in this, like, what is this? This is why I love this deck and why I love that it's here. What is this? And why is this here? What is that supposed to represent? Like, I'm sure we could look it up and go, because this deck actually comes with a really like profound insight into it. But we don't need that. What does this mean for you? Because it looks like a crown to me. And it looks like there's a pathway to get that crown, which is probably your manifestation, which is probably what you wanted, which is probably what you've been asking for. But before you can get to this pathway, you got to get checked. Before you can get that crown, you are going to go through some things with the goddess, because she is going to make sure that you understand exactly what you're getting into. She's going to make sure that this crown, are you worthy of it? There's a question. Are you worthy of it? And here's now where Venus comes in. What did you learn on Venus's journey? Are you still, I mean, Venus is with the South Node. You could still be stuck in the past. You could still be stuck in the South Node that you're trying to move through, stuck in that same timeline. Or is Venus now more aligned with the North Node, moving towards something new, changing again, doing some additional things, getting some new insights, getting some new understandings, and overall her worthiness of this crown? Gemini full moon, harsh truths of the goddess. All right. Final thing we are going to cover before we get to the Twitchy tip of the week is our December astrology. As we get into December, we'll talk more about each of these, but just to give you the high-level overview to round out the month, December is our last month in the quarter. Quarter 4 was all about freedom to expand. I am working on, I haven't started working, but it's written down. It's in the mindset. It's out in my energy sphere for the 2024 astrology overview. So that will be coming. Have no fear. To end out December, though, we are in freedom to expand. This is still a month of high effort and high reward. Jupiter does not go direct until the end of December. And the reward that at the beginning of this year, when I was doing 2023 overview, came out was like this. These were the 3 words: jolly, smoldery, which I love that word, and practically obsessed. Are you, especially thinking about this moon we just went over, and Venus and her journey and all these other things, are you practically obsessed with your life right now? Where you're going, how much growth you've gone through, how much more you still have left to do. Are you practically obsessed with your values, your goals, your movements, the way that you're showing up daily, the way that you look at yourself in the mirror, all of the things that, how are you practically obsessed with you? How do you feel that smoldery, like warm, cushy feelings with yourself, with your family, with others, with your significant other? And how do you make this time? There's still a lot to be jolly for. Yeah, it's intense. Yes, no, it's not easy. I get all of that. Still doesn't mean that there's not ways to find jolly, gratitude, and just really maybe even learning to, whoa, cards wanted to fly. King of Swords. I love that he looks like Santa, right? It's like, just be jolly, just be jolly. So lunations for December, 12/12, we have the Sagittarius new moon, 20 degrees, 40 minutes. That will trine the North Node and square Jupiter. On 12/26, we have the Cancer full moon, 4 degrees, 58 minutes, sextiling Jupiter. Then at that point, retrograde, and it will trine Saturn. Let me make sure. Give me a second. Handy honeycomb. My continuous plug for everybody to get a honeycomb because they are that phenomenal. Okay, so the Sagittarius, the 12th, were we? I don't know if we were squaring Jupiter. That's why I wanted to look. I'm like, no, that just doesn't sound right. Hold on a second. Oh, no, that isn't right. It's squaring Juno. I was like, Jupiter, gosh, that just doesn't sound right. Why is it Jupiter? Juno. The moon on the 12th is squaring Juno. On the 26th, the Cancer full moon at 4 degrees, 58 minutes will sextile Jupiter, still retrograde, and it will trine Saturn in Pisces. So those are our two lunations for December. Our stations, we have got a lot of stations in December. 12/6, Neptune will station direct, 24 degrees, 53 minutes of Pisces. On the 13th, Mercury will station retrograde. Queen of Pentacles just came out. Will station retrograde at 8 degrees, 29 minutes of Capricorn. Will head back into Sagittarius. This is his final fire sign retrograde. And he will station retrograde, sextiling Venus, trining Jupiter retrograde, and sextiling Pallas Athena. No wonder the Queen of Pentacles wanted to come out with all of that, like massive feminine goddess, buoyant, abundant energy when Mercury stations retrograde on 12/13. 12/26, Chiron stations direct at 15 degrees, 27 minutes of Aries. We'll trine Sirius at that time. And on the 30th, what we are holding on for, that vision, holding the vision, trusting the process to get there. Jupiter stations direct at 5 degrees, 35 minutes of Taurus. The Emperor coming out. Look at Jupiter. Look at this dude, just on the throne. Oh, it's just stop. This is so great. Jupiter will sextile Saturn direct when he stations direct on the 30th. And I am very excited to get into that conversation, especially because the Emperor came out for it. I'm very excited to hone in on this conversation because there's so much between Jupiter and Saturn. I love those two planets. And just working through what they each mean, how this sextile, like it's such a beautiful synchronicity between what you need for the long term, where your blessings come from, and the expansion of all of that. I mean, this Emperor. I can't even put it back in the deck. It just needs to sit here. It's just going to sit. Just going to sit here. Just going to sit right there. All right, ingresses. 12-1, Mercury will head into Capricorn. 12-4, Venus will head into Scorpio. Always gets a little spicy with Venus and Scorpio. 12-20, Vesta retrogrades back into the sign of Gemini. 12-21 is Yule. It is Capricorn season. The sun will head into Capricorn. On the 23rd, Mercury retrograde will head back into Sagittarius. Ooh, 10 of Wands. And going back, right? Going back and recovering some things. And then 12-29, Venus heads into Sagittarius. We literally end the year with a Venus-Saturn square. 10 of Wands. This is why the Emperor wanted to stay out, because it's like, no. Focus on the good things. Focus on the good things. But it's like, no, we got to focus on reality. Reality is the 10 of Wands are here. Every month, Venus and Saturn, since October, since September, has been on us in some sort of configuration. So we will end December with another one. I hope you keep a journal. I hope you can remember what showed up for you, because this is a continuous conversation that they are having. And I'm literally just thinking through this right now. It's like, that just was present for me right now. It's like, okay, got to remember that. Noted. So there is this reality that while this amazing emperor gets to get on his throne, there's still work to be done. We are still in Capricorn season. Still got to get some shit rolling. So that is our ingresses. And how do we get things rolling? Well, we have 7 trines to help us out. We love a good trine. Good trines are wonderful. We have 5 sextiles, also very supportive. 2 conjunctions, wonderfully supportive, including the Mercury Cazimi. And then we only have 4 squares and 2 oppositions. So like hand clap. All right, Emperor. All right, we're getting there. We're doing some things. This is that change of tide that we were looking for after a really intense eclipse season, after a really intense last couple of months. December has a little bit more chill to it. We still got a 10 of Cups here. It has a little bit more chill to it. And really, let's be frank, that chill comes kind of towards the end. So things to know, things to watch out for. But of course, we're here every Tuesday, and we will talk through each and every one of those as we get into December. So before we unveil this week's Twitchy tip, I'd like to invite you to explore more of what Habitual Sages has to offer. If you are finding value in this cosmic journey and our cosmic journey together, consider giving us a high five by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel, and checking out our other videos. We are also very active on X. I love that platform. X is rocking with the X. And exclusive content I post on there that you can't get on any other social platform. So if you have X, if you use X regularly, you'll definitely want to make sure to follow Habitual Sages and Twitchy Tuesday over on X. You can also join our thriving community by heading to our website, www.habitualsages.com, and subscribe to our email list to become part of the mission to help 1 million people heal, thrive, and grow. We're working on our next season. I've talked about this. Everything that I do here and talk to y'all about, I implement myself for what is relevant for me on my destiny path. And I am diligently working on my next season of growth, Habitual Sages' next season of growth and expansion, which is including classes, trainings, potentially some seminars. I'd love to do some collaboration. So if you are an astrologer, if you are a spiritual journeyist, if you're a consultant, whatever your modality, and you enjoy this and think we could work together, definitely go to habitualsages.com. Let me know, shoot me a DM, put it in the comments, get in touch with me. We are looking to expand and grow, and also other really exclusive content as well. So heading there, subscribing, you'll be the first to know, getting on our subscription email list. All right, Twitchy tip of the week. They're saying I can finally put the Emperor away and the 10 of Wands. So there we go. Okay, this week, this is my Twitchy tip. This is what came through. This week in this moon, whoa, what do we have here? Oh my gosh, look at all of these that just wanted to come out. Yeah, 6 of Swords. This moon really reminds me of shorts, clips, videos, reels, anything that's within our social media construct right now that are taken out of context. 6 of Swords could not be a better card for this. King of Cups. If your view of the world is shaped by 60 seconds with no critical thinking process afterwards, if it is just mindless scrolling, like look at this ship right here, this mindless wandering out there, this moon's going to hit you. This moon's got something to say. There is, and the star, and they are wanting me to keep this reversed. There's this need, this harsh truth, this slap in the face is the word that's coming to me. And especially with this star reversed, to seek clarity in the unclear. If you are watching a 60-second reel that came from a conversation that was 4 hours long on somebody's podcast, there might be more to the information than is being presented within that 60 seconds. The Knight of Cups, also wanting to be kept reversed. Seek out the information. Walk yourself down the path. Google. Don't take things at face value. You are going to get your feels hurt. Knight of Cups reversed. I was trying to see if there's any other symbology in here. I definitely see fishes on this horse. There's Neptune. Ask more questions. Ask more questions. Take yourself down that pathway. Oh, look. Oh my God, this could, like, seriously. I love it. I love it when the cards speak. King of Swords. So if you need help with that, my husband, King of Swords, Noble Adams, just released a video on his YouTube channel, Noble Pathways HQ, called How to Build Unshakable Resilience. All that I am talking about in this Twitchy tip of the week, there is information in that video on how you can implement those things in your life. There's truth bombs in there. He's got other different videos too that you can go check out that relate to this sort of conversation. If you need support, you can get it there. Find the truth. Go seek this King of Swords. And don't forget, definitely do not forget that there are 2 sides to everything. Gemini's gift to the world. Dual nature of Gemini meets the expanding consciousness of Sagittarius. It's why they are such a powerful dynamic access point. Dual nature of Gemini meeting the expanding consciousness of Sagittarius. In this season, expand that consciousness. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today and being part of the Habitual Sages family. I cannot wait to continue to deepen our connection and this crazy cosmic, crazy life adventure that we are on. Have a blessed week. Have an amazing, amazing start to Sagittarius season and a beautiful Gemini full moon, even with those harsh truths. Talk to you later. Bye.